Right, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to day 3. We got here. So we've got a really fabulous day for you today here on the onboard hospitality. You know, it's all about the focus. As you said, this stage is always about trends and always around what's going on, but it's also got, you know, an educational theme behind it. So this morning you heard about breakfast and how to sort of engage in those sort of things. This one for me is a little bit close to my heart, and it's something that I feel as a chef and as a developer, you know, the world's changing. We're starting to get much more aware of food and things happening. And so why not, of all areas, aviation? So I'm very, very privileged to be part of this, but I have a wonderful panel of people from different parts. I shouldn't get so excited, I'm really sorry, but I'm like a kid every time I do this because these people are fascinating and what they're doing for the greater good is amazing. So you heard the introduction already, so we've got Aaron from Beautiful Gut Health, so kefir and stuff, I'll let him talk in a second. Gwendol, good friend of mine, yeah. Head of food from En Route. Melissa, of course. Melissa, everyone knows Melissa. Her picture's around just as much as mine. It's gutting, but anyway, it's all good. So yeah, co-nutrition. And then we've got Slim also from food aviation in Australia, yeah? Yep. So, you don't need to know much about me. I'm Steve Walpole. I'm a chef consultant. Been in the airline industry now for only about 10 years. I'm really young. I had a really tough paper round, very tough paper round. So yeah, I've been involved with everything from airline caterers to now consulting, you know, looking at health and nutrition. I also do a hell of a lot in the free-from world. And when I say free-from a UK perspective, that means allergen-free. If you're talking US, that generally means animal-free, if you're free-from. So yeah, I get to work with all these different people in all these different countries and stuff. So I'm here because I'm facilitating today. I'm also doing a demonstration this afternoon on how to turn that into fine dining. So Aaron, would you like to introduce yourself and just talk a little bit about your company and what you do?
So I'm Aaron. I work for Beautiful Gut Health. So we're the biggest kefir brand in the UK, our fastest growing gut health brand in totality. Recently just got on TV for the first time, just kind of get the message out there that gut health is A, something which is important, and B, something which can taste good, because as the guys here will kind of confirm, health is all well and good at a top line level, but if it doesn't taste good, you don't get people coming back, it's a waste of everyone's time. It's a waste of your time, it's a waste of our time. So it's just about getting that message across that it's something people actually want to be part of their lives rather than it being a chore.
Cool. Gwendol, do you want to call?
Hi, morning everyone. That's very loud. Or it's just my voice. Gwendol from En Route, Director of Food. For those who don't know En Route, we are, global supplier in passenger solution, supply chain and, sourcing activities. And really what we specialize is being able to develop solutions for our customers, and specifically around food, specifically around tailoring these solutions, just so they are going just to meet all the requirements.
Perfect.
That's enough.
G'day everyone, I'm Melissa and I am a dietitian and nutritionist, and I specialise in travel nutrition. So I have a nutrition consultancy and I just love working with the travel industry, and I advocate for good food. I advocate for good quality food that tastes amazing, and the tool that I use to help do that is nutrition and nutrition science. So being a real part of the team, the nutrition pillar can really help reach that to give great meals and improve the passenger experience.
Great, and I'm Salim. I'm the Managing Director of Food Folk Australia. We're a family-owned airline catering company based in Perth, looking after a wide range of airlines from international, domestic and regional. Also heavy in the health sector, into hospitals, special dietary requirements, ITSE requirements, etc. like that.
Perfect, cool. So I think what we'll do is we'll start off by probably just maybe understanding the term culinary nutrition. Because some of you are sitting there now thinking, oh, this is going to be a really top-heavy medical sort of, we're not here to talk at you. We're here to show you that food, the whole dining experience, planes, the whole pre, the post, everything we are doing as a collective in regards to trying to change the world. We're not trying to make it wholesome. We're not trying to make it something that it's there for a purpose. It's got to be sort of part of the system. Everybody's learning how to bring certain bits in. It's small little changes, it's small little things to bring together. So, Melissa, do you want to just explain a little bit about culinary nutrition and what it means?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. Thanks, Salim. It's sort of the new kid on the block in the nutrition realm. Like, we've done it for a very long time, but it's sort of got its own term now. So basically what it does is it recognises that good nutrition on paper is amazing. You can have the most nutritious food in the world or the most nutritious meal, and that's great. But if nobody eats it because it tastes really crap, well then that's not really healthy, is it? Or really nutritious because no one's eating it. So what culinary nutrition does, especially in the health and medical space, is it really brings together nutrition science, food science, and culinary arts to create amazing meals that taste great, but also have some element to them that make it really good for you. So one of the points, Steve, that we really wanted to get across today is that, you know, when people see me walking, like, oh my God, here comes the dietitian. Oh no, what's she going to say? It's not about being the food police. It's actually about using nutrition science to your advantage, adding it into your strategy, into your policies to get the best from it, to improve that passenger experience, to improve innovation. So use it to your advantage, and that's what we're all about here for travel. So it's about how can we make travel better.
Yeah. So, Gwendol, just talk to me. So, in regards of en route, I mean, the work you do, the teams you've got, like, how are you integrating sort of culinary nutrition and health and well-being within, you know, your sector and the different? Because you cover a lot of bases. I mean,
we do. We try and we keep expanding. I think the first thing to do is, and to explain is, you know, the world has really changed since COVID, and we keep saying COVID. It seems like, you know, we had a brainwash and we forgot all about it. The reality is, the customer's expectation has evolved pre-COVID. An airline was delivering a beautiful dining experience that was based on the enjoyment. And I think more and more what our customers want is that dining experience to be also functional. You know, traveling is not easy. Traveling is stressful on your body. And actually, the dining experience these days now has to be about contributing to supporting the travel. And that's what we do at onboard as well.
Correct.
For instance, you know, beautiful shots here. What we do also at onboard, we've got our HPP. We're using technologies to also launch that into the airline market. HPP juices, which we launched with one of our customers in the US. This is beautiful. This is about maintaining the freshness of the product, bringing all the goodness to the customer. And I think this is really enhancing. And that's what we do. All across, we use data, we use insight, and we transform really the product. The last product that we do at the moment that's really exciting, and we absolutely love it, is we get excited about bread and butter experience. Okay, we have brought to market a sourdough, pure sourdough, to the airline market, and this is absolutely fantastic. Our customers love it, and what we believe in now is just to deliver that to your customers on board is also transforming the experience.
Cool.
And Steve, sorry, can I just jump in there for a second? So you might be thinking like, well, bread and butter, well, that's not very healthy. Like, well, what does Mel think about that? But it actually, when you're having really good quality ingredients and you're having it within a setting that then is part of a beautiful meal, then you're getting a lot of the nutritional sort of value from that. And then you're not necessarily then wanting more because you're not really getting that hit of beautiful butter, beautiful bread taste. If you're eating sort of, you know, not so great bread, there's a lot of research out that suggests that you might then start overeating more and things like that. So it is about bringing that quality in, and that can actually support your health, even if it's something that traditionally you might not think is actually healthy.
Right.
Absolutely. You know, the sourdough, 36 hours fermentation, breaking down the gluten, you know, the digestion, the gut.
I'm a bit annoyed you haven't brought anything for me, Gwendol. We're supposed to be friends.
And there's a lot of cheese. You can enjoy it as well. Beautiful.
No, but just go back to, I mean, I'll go to Aaron in a sec, because Aaron comes from a slightly different aspect, because you're from the retail side of stuff, and in the UK you've seen a big growth with it. But going back to your point, I think food, we really need to focus. It shouldn't be around cost. It shouldn't be around, you know, it should be actually looking at quality ingredients. Less can be more, but actually balancing it out. I think a lot of us have worked over, you know, in regards of, you know, there's all the different services, there's all the different routes, there's all the different ways to do stuff. And as I said, you know, we really should be looking at better quality, better product. Like, I'd much rather, you know, less and a really good piece of sourdough, which you need to bring over for me to try. But, you know, it's not there. It's not there as a filler. It's there for a purpose. And I think, you know, functional food is very much. And so I've been on a bit of a health journey in the last few months. So decided that, you know, when you get to 49, that you need to probably do some more with it. But actually, I've then spoke to Aaron, and I actually use Beautiful Gut Health as part of my routine with the kefir and stuff. So do you want to just talk about how that's integrated into retail? Because retail's a very different area also, and you're in a big market in regards of, you know, we'll call it yogurts and dairy sector. So do you want a little bit about how the data that you've used, like these guys have done, to sort of bring up that category from being, you know, low-level flavoured yogurts to now something really quite good?
High-level flavoured yogurts now. So essentially we started out about 12 years ago in the UK. Our founder is from Eastern Europe, and they grow up on kefir there. It's basically part of their day-to-day routine. Fermented foods have a very different history in Europe, Scandinavia, than they do in the UK, whether that's things like sauerkraut or kefir. So it's about getting that message across in the UK and overcoming some of the taboo and some of the fears around fermentation. I know from my point of view, kind of my initial thoughts were, is it going to be fizzy? Is it fizzy milk, fizzy yogurt? And it's very much not like that. It's all about getting the taste right and then the benefits follow rather than vice versa. So kefir is ideally the type of product you need to consume it every day for it to really have that benefit on your gut health. And kind of, as everyone knows, guts are then linked to your brain, mood, everything really. So if you can get that right, it's kind of got that knock-on effect. So a big part for us is almost getting people on that journey with us. So as I mentioned, we're the biggest gut health brand in the UK now. Kefir in the UK is about £90 million, but globally it's worth about 2 billion. So there's a huge headroom for it to grow, not just in the UK, but around the world. So how can we take people on that journey when it comes to gut health? I mean, ideally, I'd love to leave here and everyone kind of comes up to me and says, we'd love to get your kefir on board or in lounges or wherever it might be. But it's just getting that message across that gut health and these high nutrition, high taste products are the way forward rather than some of the bits and pieces people are used to in the past. So if it's biotable, great. But if it's a competitor and we almost kind of go along on that journey, I think kind of as I spoke to Steve yesterday about this, we just need someone to almost take the punt because I'm fairly confident it will work and almost reset the airline industry when it comes to taste and nutrition.
But I think it's also, and as we say, I'm a development chef, so I find a product or an ingredient. I work for a number of different companies and stuff. And so when you find something, it's like, how do you integrate it? So how could I use kefir in desserts, for instance, to elevate that? Breakfast, we know, and as you're doing stuff with the powders, you're doing lots of different innovation stuff. So, that's what's happening, like I said, retail in sort of UK, Europe, and obviously we talk about airlines. So, Selim, come on, give us a little take on how, the Southern Hemisphere part.
Yeah, look, we bring nutrition into a lot of the things that we do. So we've been working with the West Australian Health Network for a very long time. We're supplying into their hospitals, serving patients that are in a poor health state and need nutrients to help them through their recovery journey. And we've developed a range of foods for them that are not hospital food. You get that, that typical is hospital food. You'd rather be not well than eat that food. But yeah, so we've really helped transform that by bringing in real food, real sandwiches, real salads, rolls, things like that, things that you would eat every day normally, but making sure that they are nutritionally balanced, that they are given everything that's required to help somebody get better, not just low fat or anything like that. It's the right proteins, it's the right fats, and just limiting the bad stuff into that. We've been really fortunate that we've been able to bring that information and that knowledge across to the airline side. And then naturally through making our dishes, we're bringing nutrition into everything that we do. And what Melissa said earlier, that the important thing is if you stick a carrot salad in front of somebody, they're never going to eat it when there's, a nice curry or a casserole or something in front of them. So it's about making those casseroles, those comfort food dishes, as nutritious as possible whilst delivering the taste profiles that people want.
It's funny because we've spent years with sort of special meals and normal meals. And actually, if you're looking at then retail and what's happening in the food sector, actually, I'm quite a big advocate of saying, we should really start to slim that down. We should already be lower salt, or we should already have some of this lower sugar and things already involved. I mean, hence why we're doing it. I mean, I work a lot with companies in the UK and sort of broader stuff as well. And it's like, there's now calorie counts on everything. It's great seeing builders and stuff going into service station and making a conscious choice between the triple BLT or a nice little bit of sushi because they realise the calorific difference. But I think also you're seeing companies like Compass and Sexo, the big companies now, hiring nutritionists because they realise that. I mean, what you said about the health service, I mean, the UK, it's daft. You're going in for a heart operation and you're getting sausage and mash. The logic's just daft, but it's around cost and it's around. But you're right, you can't go giving everybody completely healthy stuff. They're going to throw it at you.
The majority of our special meal menu is actually our standard menu. They just meet the criteria of whatever the special meal is required, whether it be a vegetarian stir fry, whether it be a low fat meal or something like that. They're just stuff that we're supplying to the majority of our customers, and then we segregate some of that off for the special meals as well. So it covers a lot of bases by doing it right in the first place.
So I'll throw it out there. What are the challenges? Because, we're all talking here like it's a really easy fix, and some of you are probably sitting there going, listen to these 4, 5.
Look, price is always a consideration. We're in an industry where cost is heavily scrutinised, and we need to make sure that whatever we're doing, we're making sure we're delivering value throughout the whole supply chain. So it's well and easy to say, yes, we could spend lots and lots of money onto that, but if the customer's not prepared to wear that, or there are other constraints required, we need to work in those boundaries.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's about small steps. It's about also delivering. Start small, build on, being able to deliver, being able to demonstrate, being able to use insight and research to be able to underpin and demonstrate to our customers that actually this benefits the customer experience. We talk a lot about the passenger. I think actually we need to think of them about the customer experience. This is all an end-to-end. And I think that's what all of the suppliers and the partners that are engaging with airline out there is about delivering the message. Airline is very, very thirsty for data-driven decision. That's what we need to do. That's what we're there for. That's what I'm pretty sure from Aaron and everyone here, that's what we want to demonstrate to airline. There's always a lag between retail and airline. There's no point for them to leap forward. It has to be small step and it has to be demonstrated. That's what we do.
But I'm going back to the article that you wrote for Onboard in regards of what customers sometimes say versus what they actually choose can be very, very different. And we've always had the sort of the main three. We've had indulgent, well-being, and then sort of just different bits. So, like, I think, how do you put it into the psyche? How do you why bother as such is probably the way to look at it. It's like, shouldn't say that because I know why you bother. You need to get us to help you do that. But I think that's it. It's like, right, okay, so what does the data say versus what people are saying? But then actually, is it then around choice? What is it that's sort of driving that?
Yeah, so I think for me, one of the things to consider, Steve, is that everyone needs. Well, it's not a one-size-fits-all when it comes to healthy food. Everyone thinks healthy food is sort of black and white and there's a good list and a bad list, but it's really not about that. And we, in the nutrition world, we've really moved away from those sorts of lists. So what I really think it's about, and to help overcome some of these challenges, it's about sitting down sort of where you work and coming up with your own definition of what nutritious or healthy food looks like for you, your company, your strategy, and your passengers. Because many different, say, airlines, you all have different target markets, different routes that you're flying, different people that you're targeting. Just putting, say, a salad on a flight is not going to tick this box of providing nutritious food, because that's never going to succeed. And so, Gwendol, to your point, you really need to dig into the data and the insights to really come up with what does nutritious food look like to your passengers? Because really it can just be about a nudge, and it can be about still providing all the comfort foods that people want, but making them more nutritious, as Salim said, because what that will do is that will cover off the passengers that don't really care about nutrition. They're like, oh, look, there's mac and cheese still on the menu. That's fantastic. The people who are caring, the people that are coming up in all the trends reports that are saying, I want more nutritious foods, they'll notice in the menu description that, that's got some added, I don't know, pumpkin to it or something, and as well. And then they'll also be more happy. And so the expectations of the passenger are then covered as well. So I think it's about really switching what we think is healthy food and what that means to passengers, because it's not just about adding a garden salad on a flight, because that's not going to succeed. No one's going to pick that. And then everyone goes, oh, look, see, it didn't work. No one wants nutritious foods. They just want comfort foods.
I think it's about giving the choice back, isn't it? I mean, when you're flying, you fly for different reasons. You fly because it's either business, you're flying because you want to go. So if I'm on a business flight, I have a very different mindset. If I'm going on holiday, which never happens because I'm always working, like, you want to indulge, you want to do those sorts of things. So I think, you do need that choice in there. But like you said, if there's subtle little changes in there, or it is a nice little kefir drink with my thing, or it is a nice soda, those little changes would make a big, big difference. But I think, I still do want a mac cheese if I'm coming back from a flight. But so what else have we got in regards of, say, so do you think that airline passengers are now causing that demand? I mean, we've seen a big shift in the US, for instance, around giving the choice back to people. So almost having like a Deliveroo style concept on planes, because you can actually then get the food you want. You can go against the caterers, you can really push that. And that's what's great, because if you look at that model, for instance, that's changing the psyche, because suddenly you're seeing what customers are wanting to take onto their plane or get delivered to that plane. And it's way different than what the airline caterers or people are offering. So do you think that choice, you think it's about customer demand, or where do you see it going?
Yeah, so we actually had a talk a couple of days ago about the advanced pre-ordering systems that we're looking at for the future, and that's just becoming more and more prevalent, being able to give passengers more than one or two choices, but 20 or 30 choices on board an aircraft, and that's a big thing to do, and it also solves a lot of problems if we can make that happen. There's the nutritional aspects, there's the sustainability aspects, there's the passenger satisfaction aspects as well, which all come into being able to deliver an advanced pre-ordering system like that. The industry has a bit to do, and I think it's a bit of a partnership with airlines as well as the caterers, as well as technology providers to be able to pull these things together. But you'll see you'll be hitting the marks of the new generations a lot easier than we are now.
Yeah, and I think kind of from my point of view, unless I'm incredibly mistaken, everyone on a plane lives on land, and the trends we are seeing in the UK, across Europe, across the US, they're in such a different kind of world and remit to where they were 5-10 years ago. It will eventually resonate in air. They're the same passengers who are consuming these products and want good, tasty, healthy food on a day-to-day basis. So to almost disregard them and say once they get on a plane they're in a holiday mindset, they just want alcohol, they just want sugar, is a completely different mindset to what we're seeing on land. And once that does shift, it's going to have a real knockdown effect. Melissa will know more than I do about the changes in people's kind of gut health and when it comes to jet lag and the role it plays there from a more scientific point of view. But purely from a kind of societal point of view, people are on that journey on land already, so it's only a matter of time before we start seeing that resonate kind of in the air industry.
Completely agree. And also, when customers fly, if they're going to have, for instance, yesterday with some of the colleagues we were talking about bacon roll. If I'm going to have a bacon roll on sliced bread, I'm not going to have it. If I have a bacon roll with a beautiful butter and in a beautiful piece of a bakery item, I'm going to be that's where the calories. And I think that's a journey that all our customers and a lot of customers out there want. They are a lot more selective. They want to understand what's in the product. They want the provenance, they want the quality, they want the nutritional aspects. And all of this combined together, this is where airlines are going to deliver a much better enhanced experience.
Yeah, I think if you look at, I think that's the thing, isn't it? If you know what's in it, or you know how many calories, and you're on a calorie counting or anything else, you can make those conscious choices. So you're right, I'm not going to just go for the muesli bar because, but again, so a lot of the healthy stuff I see, and a lot in the UK, we finally got away from filling voids in the shelves to just make it fix. But actually you're realising that nutritionally or calorifically, they aren't great. I mean, sometimes some of these bars have way more than a normal breakfast bowl would be. So it's education is probably really, really key and imperative, isn't it, in regards of getting people to understand how to eat and what to eat. As you said, post-COVID, it's been great. I think everyone's we've had the vegan boom, we've had the plant-based, but actually now we're getting to that place where moderation is probably it. Learning the food groups, some people are keto, some people are, all sorts, but actually, there's got to be different levels. So how do you see the future, if you like? So what innovations are you seeing, coming forward?
Yeah, well, just touching on wrapping up that point around, calories, like when we look at what is a nutritious food, or healthy food, a lot of people just think calories or they think macronutrients, where we've got to remember that we need to look at it more holistically. Healthy food actually also encompasses not just vitamins and minerals, but our phytonutrients, our bioactives, and there's research coming out about those and the roles they play in things like circadian rhythms and jet lag. So we've got to remember there's so much in whole foods that can help us feel good. But not just that, processing of food, so how food is processed, how it's cooked. We've also got how it tastes and enjoyment, and pulling all that together gives you the definition of a healthy food. So remember that when you're developing foods, that if you think I'm going to do a healthy food, don't just think two-dimensional sort of calories or fat and sugar. There's so much more to it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. If it's all right with you guys, I might open it up to these because I love you. We could talk all day, and as you know, I like talking. Everybody knows I like talking. So can I open it up to anybody? Has anybody got any questions for this one? Because honestly, I don't think you're going to get 4 experts like this in one place again. So anybody? No? It's obviously day 3. Everyone's been to the Irish bar. Cut that bit. So anybody? Yep. Go.
Hi, thank you. It was very interesting. I'm from Addis International Catering and in-flight catering in Ethiopia. We cater different airlines like Egypt, Kenya, the Emirates, and others as well on the top of services. What I would like to ask Malaysia is about how do you manage a passenger experience, because you have a variety of passengers in there. We do local caterings as well, so we give them an a la carte menu. They choose whatever they think is healthy for their body. But for the passengers, we directly do not meet them. If there's definitely a bad experience from a passenger, we get it from the airline side. We don't meet them. So how do you try to curate your menu accordingly?
Well, I think one of the starting points sort of comes from Gwendole's point around insights and research. So really trying to understand what passengers expect, because it's that expectation, I think, that's most important. Because when you read there's nothing worse than reading a description of a food on a plane or on the menu and thinking, I'm going to order that, and then you get it and you open it up and you're like, oh my God, definitely not, because so much around what you see will then determine how you like the food and the taste of it as well. So it's really important, I think, to really start with those. But then also really thinking about sorry, I forgot the rest of your question. Can you pick the thing up? Oh.
Well, I'll jump in as well. So if you're looking at that, so customer choice in regards of you, everybody's now doing customer feedback things. Now, I know there are a little bit of some constraints in what you do. So, it could be cooked badly, it could be delivered badly. There's lots of little issues that could cause you problems. And I always use it a bit like the Deliveroo system, if you understand what I'm talking about, in regards to feedback. You can do a wonderful dish, but if they don't like the colour of the box, you can get a 1 star. So you've always got to try and work to be the lowest denominator in regards of potentially what that is. But you want to have a look at using that. So if you know what your best sellers are, or you know what people like, there's little changes we can make to add to things to enhance that without actually completely changing it. So I think when you're looking at it, it's like you're going to know what your customers like and what they don't like. That feedback should be coming from the airline. A good airline, most airlines, should be able to give you customer data in regards to feedback. Route specifically, and especially if you've got such a niche audience that would expect certain cuisines. So when you go Middle East, you expect a biryani or you expect something quite similar. So therefore, you've got to still make it the same way, but you can't completely change it. If I made a biryani with brown rice and probably going to be in trouble. But if there's a way of cutting down probably how much ghee or how much stuff goes in, I would say that would be the way to have a look at it. It's managing that data, isn't it? It's learning from people like En route and people like you guys to say, right, trend watching. What are the changes? What's coming in? What does the airline want to be? And as we know already, some people like to wait till others do it before they jump, and no one's brave enough sometimes to actually make that change. But I think you need to look at trends, look at food people say.
And just exactly now, and just to add, I think for caterers, just to partners with some other specialists such as En route, there's plenty of others out there, and just to be able just to understand the future and where are the trend, and to be able to ideate together, I think this is where the success is going to be. The 3-course meal, starters, main course, and dessert, and with cheese, this is limited. Customers will want to have absolute choices and being able to customize their meals. For us as specialists to be ahead of that and just to partner with caterers such as Denata, such as yourself, such as Dorenco and the rest of them, this is where we're going to be extremely successful and being able just to respond to customers.
But I think you need to be brave as well, is actually look at the services and think, right, we've been doing those sort of things forever. So you have a breakfast service, you have a brunch service, you have a lunch service. We're on a flight, and depending on the hours, why not look at a tapas, a grazing, bento box, something where you can get people small little bites, different things. It doesn't have to be a set. I know there is a set format, and you go from front to back or back to front, or most of us turn right, get to turn left. But the point is, you've got very different services. So actually, start to listen to them, start to have a look, be brave, do something different. Like you can really be innovative and really clever without actually, going overboard. But ovens are ovens, crew are crew, chairs are chairs. Do you know what I mean? So there are constraints within that, but it doesn't mean it doesn't have to be like that. Especially if you look at young people, how are you going to entertain a kid for ages? Well, you just keep feeding them or you give them movies. But, trying to get people, you see more around, and not just about health now in regards to food, I'm talking about, well-being on a plane, chair yoga, things like that. There's a lot of things now you can sort of do to entertain people. If they want to sit and watch a movie, they can. But I think it's really just getting that customer feedback, looking at what's going on and being brave to go back to the caterers and to the airlines and say, look, have a look at this. You may not want to do it now, but trust me, that's what it'll be. So, anybody else? I've always done a really good job, guys. Or
You have done an amazing job.
Yeah, thank you.
Well done, Steve.
Well, if you want to, has anyone got any closing statements or anything? I mean, Aaron, want to just finish off anything?
Yeah, I think kind of going down the supplier route quickly at the end. Firstly, from like a personal point of view, kind of a lot of our focus and attention in the year ahead is kind of as what Melissa, Salim, Steve and Gwenda have all said in terms of making little shifts. So we're bringing out things like overnight oats next month, just trying to elevate ways people are already incorporating, kind of trying to get health into their bodies, and how can we go on that journey with them to give them those little switches. So if it's a granola pot, it's a granola pot with kefir, so they still understand the wider messaging, but it just elevates it a little bit. And on the other side is, if you are going to give something a go, do it with a smaller supplier. I mean, it would be great if it was with us, but the flexibility smaller suppliers.
Self-promotion. Good on you, Aaron. I like you very much.
The flexibility smaller suppliers like us do have in terms of whether it's free stock, whether it's getting our messaging across on board with like QR codes and take people on that story and that journey with us and with you. There's a lot more flexibility with people like the size of us versus some of like the big brands who it might not mean so much to them. So it's just about, if you are going to do that, kind of do it with the right people and make sure they're on board with you, and go from there, really.
Perfect, yeah.
No, just very quickly. I think the success again in the future is going to be partnering with people like you at Cafe. Melissa, I think we met only about a couple of weeks ago. That was amazing, and really just to partnering with caterers. This is how we're going really just to enhance the customer experience, and we will be amazing at it.
And if any of you out there are thinking about, well, this all sounds well and good, what about cost? It's a very important, and of course that's what you'd be thinking, but this is where you can really innovate and think outside the square, because so say with kefir, it might be a more expensive product, or it might, for some people, they might be thinking, for the majority of people, maybe they don't know what it is yet or might not like it on some routes. But thinking about innovating with nutrition science, thinking, okay, well, maybe on, say, a short 1 hour flight within Europe, maybe a normal yogurt would suffice, especially if there's budget restraints. But then thinking too, well, jet lag and gut health, thinking, okay, well, this is a product that we'll put on our long haul flights. So don't always think one size fits all, because you can really start to tailor these products to the actual flight itself so they get the best health benefits and they feel the best with the product. So that real functional element.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, the only thing I have to say is for the caterers and suppliers out there, be proactive on this. Don't wait for the airline to ask. Yes. It's always good to be on the front foot, bringing new ideas, and that to the airlines shows that we're nimble, shows that we're thinking, shows that we're seeing what's out there in the industry and where the trends are. So be proactive, show the airlines what can be done by proactive and good caterers.
Oh, brilliant. Well, guys, big round of applause. Thank you so much. Honestly, we've tried to make it a little bit light-hearted, but there is a serious message there. So please, Aaron's around for the rest of the day, I assume. Everyone knows where you are, en route, can't miss you. And obviously, Melissa, ambassador, and the red carpet, and throwing rose petals everywhere she walks, it's fine. And sell him, so that's good. But please come, any questions, come and see them. And there's a really good chef on shortly, doing a nice little thing around fine dining and health. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be cooking in the similar vein. So it's like, how do you take fine dining food, but just elevate it a little bit by some of these small little increment changes and things. So if you didn't want to pop back a little bit, it was supposed to say free from, not free lunch. So please don't think you're getting a free lunch. It was just a slight little typo on my part, but it was just a ploy to get you all here. But no, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. If you want to come and see them, brilliant. And enjoy the rest of your day 3. Thank you.